Hey, good for Daniel Snyder. Daniel Snyder, the owner of the Washington Redskins, says we're keeping a name. It's been that name for 81 years. If members of the media, especially members like Peter King, I always love when a heavy-set white writer starts deciding who's offended and who isn't. 90% of the Indian nation reportedly polled, 90% said they're not offended. I'm hearing people say, well, they only took 1,000 people as a sample. That's what they do with all polls. That's why it figures out. So it's 90%. And then on top of that, who do you think designed the Redskin helmet, ladies and gentlemen? An Indian. Look, every 2 or 3 years, this is predictable. There's things that are always predictable in talk radio, columns, whatever. Okay? We're going to talk about why there aren't enough African Americans in baseball. That will happen around the spring. We got the concussion thing going when there's no NFL games going. That's very, very predictable. But every 2-3 years, the Washington Redskin naming thing comes into play. And you know what? The minority are offended, and that's the way it is. I mean, I'm offended by things. They don't change things because I'm offended. I'm a minority about things, or anybody else. Okay? 90% of Native Americans don't have a problem with it, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, an 89% of a cross-section in the United States don't have a name, and don't have a problem with it. And don't you think Daniel Snyder looked at that? And he said, guess what? We're not going to kowtow to the 10 or 11% who aren't. And this goes for the writers out there who want to, just go. If it was a racial slur, you couldn't say it, and you couldn't write it. You couldn't say Washington Redskin if it really was what people are portraying it to be. Mike North, the Rebel Inside.